Hello.
Dewalawanga.
Yes, we're back. I'm not going to say
Yes,
what I
hello.
usually say, unless you want to say what I usually say.
No, no, go ahead.
All right.
We're here. We're here. We're going to talk about the Return of the Jedi,
Yes,
the
that's what we're
third
doing.
released, sixth chronologically in the Skywalker saga of the Star Wars movies. Um,
Yes,
yeah.
Return of the Jedi. What did you make of it?
Well, it's a decent film, isn't it?
I thought it was all right.
It's a nice round off to the trilogy.
Yeah, not without its problems, though.
No, but I mean, all three of them got problems, haven't they?
Yes, we've spoken about them, some more than others.
Yeah, so you should absolutely go and check out our incredibly long, almost as long as the movie video about the A New Hope,
Yeah,
and then our much shorter video about Empire Strikes Back.
yep,
Um, yeah, and then come back and watch this again.
yeah. So,
So
yes, this was one of the ones I watched more as a kid because I liked the scenes in Jabba's palace and I liked the stuff with the Emperor, and I still like the scenes in Jabba's palace and the stuff with the Emperor. Um, but I did note a fair few problems with that setup of going to get Luke or Han back from Jabba. Um, so it doesn't really have anything to do with the main plot, and I sort of felt like this is one of two major issues. Well, three really. The first is that if the Emperor or the Empire are sort of looking for Luke specifically, and the others as well,
mm.
isn't Jabba's palace like a safe bet on where they're going to show up? Don't you put
I
like
mean,
a garrison there, or even just like let Jabba know to give him a
would
call?
Jabba would Jabba let that happen? He's got a lot more influence than your average rebel.
True, but the Empire has a lot more influence than Jabba, and they can come down pretty hard.
Maybe galactically, but do you remember when you got to okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves in terms of this series,
Mm,
but one of the things about the about Tatooine was that Republic credits weren't any good there
mm,
back when it was the Republic because they were so far out of the sticks that the Hutts kind of ruled that place.
yeah.
Why are we meant to believe anything's changed?
Well, I don't know. You could have a spy in there. It may be that,
Yeah,
or you just
they could have reason to, but I mean everything happened so quickly with Luke going there.
you could make, I don't know, you make a throwaway line in the script like at least the Empire has less influence here, even though we've seen them in the first film. That
Yeah,
was
but we see them have it investigate. We see them go to the planet,
yeah.
investigate something, and then presumably leave again
I
afterwards. We
don't
don't.
I don't know. I feel like that's maybe a bit of an issue.
Uh,
Um, for
I get
me
it.
anyway. I think it
I
would.
I'm overlooking it based on my knowledge of
Mm,
Phantom Menace,
I don't know.
and you're seeing an issue with it based on your experience of A New Hope and
I
Empire Strikes Back.
I
So that's
feel
fine.
feel like you could tie it into the main story a bit better and just have some Imperial presence there, maybe.
Mm.
But similarly, you could get the entire Rebel Alliance. You could get like a Rebel ship or some support from the Rebel Alliance as a whole, maybe, and that's less
I
of a
mean,
strong issue for me. But why?
why would the rebels risk causing a major incursion when they're A trying to group up and B it's just Han Solo?
I mean, the devil's advocate argument would be, well, he's General Solo.
Well, is he general at that point?
I don't know. I think well, he was in Empire.
Was he? Oh, then yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, you want to sort of spread out a bit. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you got to remember the rebels weren't that fussed about finding Luke in
Yeah,
Empire.
yeah.
Why would they be fussed about finding Han when
Mm,
they know where he is?
mm.
And he wanted to leave anyway.
Fair. Um,
I mean, I get it. They should
yeah.
absolutely should get involved in that.
As I say, it's less of a strong point, but you have some pretty influential figures involved in that, and you could probably get like a ship or something, and I don't know, less of a strong point, but still worth considering.
Like
Fine.
the whole film, sorry, is so I was presumably based on this, we're focusing on part one of the three stories in here because it's a free story movie really. In that you've got rescuing
Yeah,
Han, you've got the rebels versus the Empire, and you've got Luke versus the Emperor.
yeah, essentially.
Okay, so yeah, okay, cool. Just
Uh,
making sure that we're yeah.
my third and final issue is what exactly was Luke's plan? What
Yeah,
was
I
the plan
put.
here?
What's my note? Ba, 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 ba. No, where did I go? I wrote something very specific, and I thought it was quite witty at the time.
Mhm.
But no, no. Oh yeah, that's it. Luke's plan is so reliant on a public execution.
Well, my after all, I sort of the conclusion I came to was that he was going to cement all his people in the palace and figure it out from there.
Well, you say that, but he gave R2 the lightsaber, and the giving the lightsaber only really works if he's
I
in a position to fire it over to him.
I did watch the Rancor fight and think. I wonder if Luke's like, oh shit, I probably should have kept my lightsaber just in case instead of giving it to R2.
Mm.
Um, yeah, because he sends Lando first. Lando
Yeah.
goes in first and gets a position as a guard,
Yep.
um, and doesn't do anything.
No, he reveals himself to Leia at one point, but other than that,
Yeah, then C-3PO and
the droids,
R2-D2 come in.
which is where we join the plan.
Yes, and they get positions.
Yep.
And then Leia comes in and she's the one who alone rescues Han from the carbonite. And
Yep.
she's with Chewie, but Chewie gets imprisoned and
Chewie's the way in, isn't he?
yeah. And so Han is now free. And then Luke shows up.
Well, Leia gets caught.
Yeah.
And Leia gets caught because Boba Fett, extended universe knowledge, Boba Fett told Jabba that it wasn't Boushh in the outfit. Boushh had died, right? And they'd used this outfit as Leia in his outfit as a sort of thing going on to try and cement the reputation later on throughout the galaxy.
It's like if Luke had.
So
Sorry, go on.
Boba Fett knew it wasn't actually Boushh and had told Jabba, and that's why they were laying in wait. Now, I know you don't get that from the film, but that is, I think, helpful context.
Well, I guess I just sort of, yeah. Fair, I suppose. But if Luke had gone in and his Jedi mind trick had worked,
Mm.
I mean, I guess he could ask for the droids as well.
It
But
was
it's
never going to work.
but it still means that Jabba's alive, and when he comes to his senses, he's like, "Oh, those fuckers tricked me. I'm going to double that bounty, and I'm going to put one on all of them."
Well, yeah, but then, you know,
It's just a. What do you mean? You know?
he'd have to deal with a whole bloody rebel alliance at that point if they've left, haven't they?
Well, apparently not,
Well, I mean,
because they couldn't
if
be
they're
asked to
with
show.
the rebels,
Yeah, but
if
they
they're
were all.
already with the rebels, right?
Yeah.
What's Jabba going to do? Have a bunch of bounty hunters turn up to the Battle of Endor?
Yeah, but that. I mean, there's a world after the Battle of Endor.
Well, I know, but
This is going to be
we're
an
ahead of
issue.
ourselves there.
This is going to.
That's a later conversation, that bit.
This is going to be an issue going forward. It doesn't really solve anything. It just pisses him off more. This was a bad plan, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's absolutely a bad plan. There's too much of it relies on luck.
Mm.
Okay, fine. You could say that Luke could maybe foresee what's going on, but that's never really established that he's got any sort of precognition.
I speaking of which, Luke has Luke learned any more about Jediing since the end of Empire Strikes Back? Did he pop back to visit Yoda for a bit?
No, because that's what he's going back to do after they finish here, isn't it?
Well, he's a lot better at it.
Yeah, you got to wonder what he did.
It's like
in
it's
that
like
time.
it's like a it's the, I guess it's kind of like the same problem with Empire Strikes Back in that the time frames characters are progressing at different rates.
Yeah,
There's
he
like
doesn't.
that's like 6 months or a few months worth of training between where Luke was at End of Empire and where Luke is in Return of the Jedi. It feels like he's learned so much more.
I'm sure I read somewhere long time ago that there's some sort of maximum amount of force in the universe
Right.
that can be used by people. Don't hold me to this, and don't hold me to the idea of it actually being a thing. But it's sort of like do you know American Horror Story?
Vaguely, very vaguely.
Do you know the Coven series?
No, very, very, very vaguely.
Okay, the premise of that is that there's I know it's gonna be ridiculous, but there's like a witch in charge
Yeah.
and a replacement witch who becomes more powerful as the original gets weaker.
Yeah.
And so we know Yoda is dying.
Are you
Spoiler alert for
are you suggesting Luke was gaining more of the Force energy that Yoda wasn't able to use anymore.
Perhaps. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's why the Sith only have the two of them,
I
right?
don't,
It's a,
possibly.
I don't really know,
I
but
don't.
it would be an explanation. It's not
Yeah.
explained. We know.
I also want to make note of something I noticed. Um,
Okay.
Luke looks a little bit like Aunt Beru.
Does he?
Yeah,
Oh, I
I
never
there
really.
were several scenes where I looked at him and thought, oh, he's got an Aunt Beru look to him. Um, yeah, I really like the stuff in Jabba's palace. I like the atmosphere and the various cast of characters and stuff. Not that
I
fucking
assume.
CG singing scene. Didn't like that.
Yeah, I assume you were watching the Disney Plus version.
Mm,
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the dance number's fine. People need to get over.
it's
Right.
stupid.
Look,
It's stupid.
it's fucking world building, isn't it? That's what that is.
The world was. Look, we're going to disagree with this. I thought
Yeah.
the world.
I don't think it matters. I think it's such a small thing for people to get arsy about.
I don't know. I sort of roll my eyes and think George Lucas was. They fucking left it alone. It doesn't need to be there. It's stupid. It looks. It jars. The CG jars with all the real masks and effects and whatever. And I just think, stop fiddling, George. For fuck's sake.
I think the physical costumes are quite good.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that's something to worth. All the puppets and the physical presence.
As I said.
Some of them look a little weird, but I mean,
Yeah.
generally speaking, they're fine. So,
Yeah. I do. I
um,
do like that. I like the atmosphere. I like Jabba the Hutt as a character and as a puppet, as a massive big monstrous slug puppet. That's really good.
yeah.
Um,
Obviously, thanks to that entire section of the film, that first half hour or so, we get introduced to the outfit of a million nerdy sex fantasies.
yes,
Yes. Uh, Slave
Salacious
Layer,
Crumb. No.
Slave Layer, or as Disney are preferring it now, Fire Spray Layer.
Why is it fire spray layer?
Oh, it's a piss take joke because they changed Slave One, didn't they,
Oh
to
yes.
Fire Spray?
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Very good.
I, thank you. I feel like the visual on the Sarlacc, I don't like it. I
That
feel like it used to be better. That's
that's
something I'll
that's a
agree on.
CG alteration. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. It looks a lot more fake now than it did before,
yeah,
and I don't know if I've ever seen it properly in a film without, but I know I've seen it better. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah. I'm just
So
googling it. Uh,
yeah. And we've got that touching scene between the Rancor and its owner after the Rancor dies as well.
yes, that's a classic.
you know,
So,
Ula's kinda hot.
is she the original slave girl?
Dancing, yeah, you know.
As the original Sarlacc pit?
Let me change my tabs. Yeah, that looks a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I would say.
yeah. There's no
Than
need for like a monster to be in it, I guess.
it's just a fucking pit.
Yeah, yeah,
But they're plants technically.
yeah. I thought look at them as like a Venus flytrap, and every now and then a bantha would fall into it.
Yeah. Oh, we see inside one in the Boba Fett series, but
Mm.
you know. In that one to be fair, because Boba Fett's a bit of a chump in this one, isn't he?
Yeah, he gets his ass handed to him
By blinded Han. So
by accident.
yeah, it's not even deliberate. So
Yeah, yeah.
and obviously Lando's quite lucky to not have died as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of people not quite dying,
Yeah.
as if they're trying to make us think that someone might.
Maybe they should have done that. I don't know. It's too optimistic a series, maybe.
Yeah.
So
So we have a lot of people. A lot of people die later on, but none of the main people.
yeah,
Well, where someone gets his shot in the arm.
yeah,
Oh, and electrocuted, I suppose, but that doesn't
yeah,
really count.
yeah.
We also see Max Rebo,
Yes, the
that lovely blue elephant guy.
Blue Man Group original.
Yeah,
Um,
and yeah, so there's a lot of
yeah,
weird stuff going on in there, but it's decent, isn't
yeah.
it?
I like it as a.
I can understand
So,
it feeling out of place compared to the rest of the film, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Do you think? And I ask this because it came to me whilst I was watching. Do you think that there's even a tiny part of Jabba that was getting off on it while he was getting strangled?
No.
Because he didn't look overly unhappy about it initially.
Well, he's a puppet, isn't he?
Well, okay, yeah, fine, but you know, some of the puppets are quite emotive.
Yeah.
Yoda definitely is,
Yeah, Yoda's good.
as we talked on last time. Although I think they CG'd a bit of Yoda as well, didn't they? But
Possibly.
which was a bit disappointing. Some of his conversational pieces didn't, just before he died, didn't really seem quite
Uh,
puppety enough.
it's
Compared to how he
entirely
looked.
possible.
So.
Entirely
Anyway,
possible.
anything more you want to say about the rescuing Han? Or
Well, there's a line that was changed when Han is trying to. This was pointed out in another video I saw. Han was trying to save Lando. And Lando says, I thought you were blind. And Han says, oh no, I can see a lot better. And it's very quick. And originally it was, no, it's fine, trust me.
well, I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't know.
Which I think probably does work. It's a weird change. I don't know why they made it. I think it does work better as a line if they say,
Well, I mean,
trust me.
we have it saying beforehand that his eyesight's improving, don't we, on the way there?
Mm.
So
It's not the end of
you
the
know,
world, but I don't know. It's a change that didn't need to be made for reasons I don't fully understand. Or at all understand. But anyway.
I'm so indifferent to it. I just don't care.
Yeah. Um, yeah, we got our first Palpatine appearance.
We did.
By Ian McDermott.
Can we just before we go on to that?
Yeah.
We have Vader turn up.
Yeah.
And we have that whole thing about having to double the efforts to rebuild it.
Yeah.
Because the Emperor's coming and all that. One thing I noted, they have the Lander class shuttle that Vader's in being escorted by 2 TIE fighters. Which seems a bit overkill when you consider that the Death Star's there and there's 3 Star Destroyers behind it.
It's a ceremonial thing, I think. It's a formality.
He used to fly his own bloody ships. Why did you know? You know, it's all. And how much do you have to fuck up to end up being the commander in charge of the Death Star? Like, because that's not a good job, is it?
Well, I mean, historically, the only other person to do it, I don't know whether it was Grand Moff Tarkin, it possibly was. But if it wasn't, there was a commander of the Death Star position under him. That didn't end well.
No, I don't know. It's just.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, we have Ian playing.
Yeah, I think they added an evil laugh. For some reason.
Maybe I don't know.
He's great.
He is. It's funny that he was cast in this whilst he was a much younger man.
Yeah.
But of course, played young Palpatine as an older man.
Yeah.
But, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He refers to Vader as a friend numerous times.
Yeah. See, there are things in this that, lines and moments, and one of them is when Vader's like making his decision at the end, when the prequels actually help.
Yeah.
Because that line does sort of work well with the relationship that Anakin and Palpatine had in the prequels.
Yeah, they were very friendly. It was,
yes.
Almost mentor-like before it became official.
Yes, that line is a good supplement to that. Yeah, and we're skipping ahead a bit, but when Vader's making his choice, I was thinking, oh, I bet he's thinking about when Padme told him she was pregnant, stuff like that.
Oh, I was thinking maybe he was thinking about that time that Mace Windu was fighting.
Yeah, maybe.
And he ended up going out with Windu.
That's possible. Where it was like I made the wrong decision before, and yeah, no, that works. That works.
Yeah. We get Yoda's death.
Yeah.
Luke goes back to complete his training, and Yoda's like, "Nah, I can't teach you anything, and I'm gonna die. So, good luck." He says, "Oh well, you've got to go and fight Vader now," which is exactly the thing they didn't want him to do last time.
Yeah, you're training.
Make your fucking mind up, Yoda.
They haven't done any training either. He hasn't, as far as Yoda. Well, I guess maybe he has. I don't know, but Yoda's like barely progressed, or Luke's training has barely progressed. And Yoda's saying, "I've taught you everything I can." He's just tired at this point. He's just done. He wants to die.
Yeah, he's ready to nope out of it, isn't it? Do you think Luke turning up in the black clothes helped with that? Because
I think Luke turning. I think Luke turning up helped with that.
Well, yeah. There's this whole thing with the bad guys wear dark clothes, isn't there? And
Mm.
good guys wear light clothes, and there's that whole thing with Luke's wearing black for the entire film, but
Mm.
that part where his thing opens up and it's got white inside or something.
All
I
right.
don't know. But anyway, do you think Yoda's like, oh shit, he's turned?
I
Oh, he's come to kill me. Let's nope out before he gets a chance
I think Yoda's
to.
just like, oh fuck, I can't deal with this fucking farm boy disappointing me again. You know what? You're fine. Go sort it out. And then Alec Guinness shows up, and
Yeah, we have his famous line, don't we?
yes, from a certain point of view, i.e., I
Yeah.
lied, and he,
I lied, but I mean, to be fair, the thing he says afterwards that you'll come to learn that many of the truths we hold dear uh, are only relevant to a certain point of view or something, and
mm,
it's not wrong,
yeah, it's
but
like,
it was bullshit what he said still.
yeah, almost to the point where you think that that was not the original plan, and then they had to sort of retcon it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Originally, it was as far as the script was concerned. I know it's not necessarily original thinking, but the script
Mm.
said that it was Obi-Wan that killed him. So
Mm.
maybe there was some truth to the idea of that concept originally, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. We also find out that Luke has a sister, and it's really convenient that it's Leia, because if it was some random woman on a farm somewhere, that'd have really thrown off the pacing for
Yeah,
who went to go get her, because they'd have gone to go get her, wouldn't
yeah.
they? You know?
It does sort of. I mean, they've written it in with the idea that Leia was raised by her mother,
Yeah, which is
was,
yeah,
and that they have. I guess she's was shown photos, so she knows her mother was Queen Amidala. I
yeah.
guess,
The idea that I've got a note of it, but the fact about Leia's memories of her mother are nonsense. But in fairness, she was very beautiful.
or it could be that she's remembering Jimmy Schmidt's wife.
Possibly, but that, I mean, you'd hope not, because he did specify real mother, and but then again, maybe she doesn't know that she's adopted. Maybe it is because Luke's like, "Hey, Vader's my father. Oh,
Yeah,
also, you're my sister,"
yeah,
and she's like, you don't really see it in any of the other stuff.
mm,
Um, but she goes in the extended content that may now not even be canon.
mm.
She has this whole crisis of faith about who she is as a person because she's Vader's daughter,
See
and she
that
spends the rest of her time fighting to prove that she's not the same as him.
that would be interesting.
I think that she's considered some sort of disgraced politician in the sequels universe because of it,
All
but
right.
I don't know how accurate. It's been a while since I've seen them, so
Yeah.
some
Mm.
sort of smear campaign where the truth came out or something. Which technically is not a smear campaign if it's true. I don't think. I think it's.
No.
I think the circumstances change a little bit, but we'll get to it. It might come up. It might not. I don't know.
Uh,
But yeah, it was such. I feel really bad for it because it's such a nonchalant conversation,
mm.
and she's like, "Oh
Like
shit!"
it's earth-shattering news that changes your perspective on your entire life.
And then Han's there, and you just know that her being as vulnerable as she was in that moment, she already gets him to hold him,
Mm.
gets him to hold her.
Mm.
Saying maybe that's when Ben got conceived.
Possibly.
You know,
To yub yub.
who knows? A bit of yub yub.
Mm.
But yeah. Um, so yeah, that happens. We find out the rebels all group up. They're going to go to Endor,
Yeah.
Fast Moon of Endor. They're going to attack the Death Star. Two groups:
Yep.
Space Group, Game Group.
Yep. And they assault the shield generator room.
We do with a bit of help from their friends.
Yep. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you
The
know,
Ewoks. I love the Ewoks. I don't care. I still like them.
mm. I wonder how much of that scene was an inspiration for pod racing with the chase on the swoop bikes, because there's a few similarities between it. I would say,
Yeah.
like when the two get stuck together and the
Yeah.
crashing and the spinning and the
Mm.
it came the line. Now this is pod racing did come to mind whilst it was, you know.
Yeah. I did watch that and think, God, they've probably travelled 30 miles. It's a good
Yeah, they.
thing she
Do
met.
you know how they filmed it?
Yeah, they walked through the redwoods and then sped up the footage.
Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's such a clever way of doing it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good thing she met Wicket, played by
Yeah,
Warwick
if there was any of
Davis.
the other one, they might have eaten her.
Yeah, 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 Warwick Davis was a school kid who was obsessed with Star Wars, as basically all school kids were at the time. And his
Mm.
nan recommended. His nan saw him and was like, "Oh yeah, you should try that." So he did, and he got to hang out with like Carrie Fisher and everybody. That's really cool.
Look at him.
Yeah,
That bit where they're getting chased and they throw one of the stormtroopers off and it hits a tree.
yeah.
That just it'll always be funny to me. That slow hit and fall. I just it's stupid, but it tickles me.
Is he
It
dead
really does.
or is he just broken up a bit?
I would say that kind of speed impact
Probably,
probably
yeah.
because he slows down very quickly. That is not
Yeah,
going to be good, and that armor's basically worthless anyway. It's
yeah,
more for the appearance than the effect. So
yeah, yeah. Mm.
yeah.
Um, I guess
What next?
I don't know. I can't.
Well, okay, that's fine. I'll leave it.
You take the lead.
So they meet the Ewoks. The Ewoks are going to help him out. Luke decides he's going to leave after he drops that bombshell on Leia because he needs to go and confront Vader and the Emperor, right?
Mm.
And there's that bit where they have a conversation about how it's too late for him, Vader, and Luke doesn't understand the power of the dark side and all that kind of crap.
Yeah,
And then he sends Luke off, and he's just stood there for a moment, looking over the forest.
yeah.
And if there was ever a place to put a musical number
Mm.
in that film, it would have been there.
You suggesting that? You suggesting that's where the CG Jabba's Palace entertainment should have been, or that Vader should have had a musical
That
number?
Vader should have had a solo wistful musical number.
Yeah,
It's something akin to the Saddam Hussein song from the South Park movie. That's
yeah.
not the same content and not quite the
Mm.
same purpose, but that style of I'm the bad
Yes,
guy, but actually things aren't as bad. I'm not as bad as people think I am.
yes.
You know.
I think they did Vader's turn pretty well. He's clearly been doing some thinking since he revealed himself to Luke.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he's surprisingly emotive mask, especially later on when he's doing
I
that
I
decision making.
I completely disagree, but I think your point sort of justifies mine in that it's not an expressive mask. It's just a good performance and well shot, and it's done so well that you can read into it. You understand
Yeah,
exactly what
yeah,
the emotions behind that mask are. You
yeah.
know
The
exactly
music
what he's
and
thinking. Yes,
yeah,
it's
it all.
everything else
The,
is doing it for that character. You know exactly where Vader's thought processes are. You know he's on the turn.
mm,
You know, um, yeah. I mean, we're told that he's keen to resume his hunt for Skywalker, and
yeah,
that's
for
like,
whatever reason.
well, yeah. I mean, we can read into that sort of as the film
Well, we
goes
know.
on. It becomes clear that he sort of wants to not get well. I guess get to know his son. He wants to.
Wants to play ball.
Yeah.
Hey, I can take you pod racing. No, pod racing got outlawed in a lot of places.
uh,
Probably not, but
yeah.
the I mean, we know from Empire that he wanted to rule the galaxy as father and son.
Mm.
So the implications of that are either both of them do that under Palpatine, or they both kill Palpatine, which is a very Sith thing to do anyway.
Yeah, I feel like it's the latter.
I feel like it is as well, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. But you gotta wonder, haven't you?
Mm.
Because I mean, technically, the Emperor was trying to get Vader to kill him. No, to get Luke to kill him. Sorry,
Kill
or to
Vader.
try and kill him.
Yeah, well,
No,
oh,
no,
to try and kill Palpatine. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
yeah.
I get. Yeah,
So it's all sort of yeah.
they're sort
Uh,
of expected in that philosophy, I guess, and encouraged that you will try, and it's sort of giving into your ambition and your hunger for power that you will think about this and entertain it as a thought.
yeah.
Nobody
And
really
once it's in
fully
there,
trusts anybody else. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
yeah. But it's so ridiculous. There's never just two fucking Sith. Everyone's got apprentices. It's absurd.
Well, there
And
were.
sometimes it's part of a plan, and
Well, Luke certainly isn't the last of the Jedi, as we've established a number of times. There's like 100 of the fuckers out there.
yeah,
How Yoda doesn't know that?
yeah, because he should know by now. I mean, even if you ignore the fact that there's at least two in canon at
Mm,
this point going around, but one of them's of the ones I'm aware of that's still knocking about. You've got one in another galaxy,
Mm.
And you've got Ahsoka, who's sort of not maybe actually a Jedi, but is definitely still around.
Well, I can understand why they put them in stuff because if you're making like an expanded universe novel or something like that or a TV show, Jedi are fun to play with, and
Mm,
Jedi are like the coolest and core component of the Star Wars universe, essentially.
yeah.
So if you're making a series, you kind of like let's get a rogue Jedi who survived Order 66, and yeah, we need to get that in there, someone force sensitive, because otherwise, is it really Star Wars? It's I don't know. I I get
Well, I
I
mean,
get that attitude.
it would be nice to see more stuff without
Yeah.
Jedi in it, and that's one of the things. I know I harped on about it a lot while I was watching, but that's one of the things that Andor did right, and
Mm.
that Rogue One does right. It's like there's no real Jedi component to it. I'm sure they get mentioned in there, but they're not part of the story.
Is that a factor in
You
the
know,
Mandalorian, or is the Mandalorian pretty Jedi free?
I I mean Grogu's technically a Jedi.
He's force sensitive. He's not a Jedi.
Oh, he's a Jedi youngling.
He's been
He
trained,
was
isn't
in
he?
the temple during Order 66.
Lol.
So, you know,
Uh,
we do see
oh, that's so
um
silly.
we do see some Jedi throughout the series. It's mostly flashbacks, and there's this point where he's off training with Luke for a while. So we
Mm,
see that happen, and we see Ahsoka a fair few times because she's involved in some of it. So
right.
they are in there, but it's less prevalent than it would be.
Mm,
They are an aside rather
mm,
than a main. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah. So Luke goes to meet Palpatine, and they have you know, your faith in your friends is your weakness, and your
Yes.
confidence is yours, or it's the other way around.
Yes, I love
Um,
scenes like that where we get the villain gets to talk to the hero. You know,
yeah.
they're great,
I like
one
I
on
like when
one
Robot
essentially.
Chicken did it, and it turned into a Yo Mama
Yeah.
fight. But Palpatine he was in his chair, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I've seen Ian talking about how he had to swivel that himself with his feet,
Mm.
so he's scooting along,
Mm.
trying to get it smooth, and it's just funny. They sent those two red guards away, didn't they?
Yeah.
What do you reckon they were doing whilst all this shit was going on?
Fag break.
Having a cuppa, maybe.
He dipped out of the fag like fucking hell. He's hard working. He, Jesus Christ.
Uh,
You know, my mate's got a job in Coruscant. He's got something pretty cushy. I might see if I can get a transfer.
uh,
Things like that.
they I had a point, and we don't really see anything of them doing anything. I know there's a deleted scene where they deny entry to the bloke that was in charge of the Death Star, the commander.
Yeah, who's gonna tell them? I guess I presume he's gonna tell them like shit's going pretty rough. We might want to do something. I guess.
Presumably, maybe. I can't remember. I've
Uh,
seen it, but I can't remember now. But we don't see them do an awful lot. Now that's a shame because they're meant to be like elite guards, right?
yeah,
We do get a bit of that later on in the series, so that's something to look forward to.
lovely.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, but it's
I mean,
close
I
enough.
sort of look to them as just purely ceremonial. This is the next level up. This is like royalty. You know,
Yeah, but they've still got to be able to fight, haven't they?
I suppose.
You know, what's the point of having
Well,
only a visual guard, right?
well, yeah, but you don't. I guess yeah, but you don't need to see that in the actual films. It doesn't really matter. I mean,
No, I know, but it would be interesting to see them.
one
You
thing
know,
one thing I forgot from Jabba's palace is the Gamorrean guards are armed with axes in a world
yeah,
full of blasters.
yeah, they are a
Yeah.
bit.
But anyway, um,
They managed to blow up after a bit of backwards and forwards. They do manage to
yeah.
blow up the shield generator.
I thought I'd find the fight more annoying, but I thought it was cute, or the Ewoks. I'm an Ewok fan. I
Oh,
don't
you see,
mind
I
them.
got a bit frustrated by the ridiculousness of it.
Mm,
I mean, I get it; it's fine,
yeah.
but it's always. I mean, I literally wrote Ewok Uprising is a tad silly. I get the Vietnam comparisons from it, but
Yeah.
still,
It's
I get it. It's silly, but fine.
yeah, it's about the little guy coming together to beat the big overwhelming power. Although I did think at one point, this is the Empire's best, is it?
Well, evidently not.
I feel like there probably weren't a lot of dead stormtroopers, just a lot of broken bones.
Yeah, that's something to be aware of, and you
Um,
know.
when Han looked at the Walker and said, "I've got an idea,"
Mm,
my thought, and I remember this was being my thought when I saw the film last, and probably every time
mm.
I've seen it, is, oh, okay, he's going to use it to blow open the doors.
which is a sensible thing to do there.
Yeah,
But
but he didn't.
when they took over that Walker,
Yeah.
two things. One, Chewie's Tarzan swing
Oh God, yeah, I noted
and his
that.
little roar. That's
Yeah,
fucking.
I didn't
Again,
like
it
didn't like
amuses me.
that.
It's stupid, but it amuses me. But also, how lucky is it that that one didn't get destroyed by all the other stuff going on?
Mm.
Because from the outside, they all fucking look the same.
I mean, you could also. I mean, it wouldn't be quite as strong because you wouldn't have the Walker there to sort of when they came out to face them down and sort of prevent them from, fighting back. But he could have just dressed up as a stormtrooper. But
Yeah,
I mean, the point they were going with was get them to come out, and then oh shit, we've got a Walker and a shit ton of teddy bears. So yeah, I'm fine with that. It was just my first thought was blow open the doors because they were struggling. I
yeah.
mean, the way it's set up, they were struggling to open the door. The problem is open the door. Here's the
Yeah.
thing with big guns, big cannons.
Although, in fairness, getting them to open the door is just as effective.
Yeah, problem solved, and you've dealt with the people inside. So it's fine, but it throws me every time. And in 20 years' time, when I deign to watch it again, it'll throw me then too. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um,
That brings the shield down, so the fleet can attack.
yes,
They've turned up already. They're having to fight. They've realised
yeah,
it's a trap.
yes. I
You
did.
know.
I watched that, and I thought this line has been ruined for me by
Yeah.
memes and stuff. But yeah, yeah,
Sort of like how The Shining was ruined for me by everything that had been
yeah,
the Simpsons fucking doing it.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I can basically quote that entire section of the film.
Hmm.
I can do it in time with the film because I've seen that battle so many fucking times.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite things to watch from Star Wars. Is the space battle there.
Mm.
And there's only like 8 minutes of it, 9 minutes of the whole actual space stuff going on, and that includes the stuff inside the Death Star.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of content really in the grand scheme of it. But I really like it. I like the visuals. I
It
like the
it's sorry, no, go on, I'm interrupting you.
I like the visuals. I like the concept. I like the way that the two forces bounce off each other. You see the teamwork of the rebels at play with the covering each other's backs, and the fact that they're all pals with one another. You get Nien and his wonderful bloody face.
Mm.
Just
I
I sorry, go on.
I thinking about it, I was going to say it's the best battle in the original trilogy. It might be the best overall, I think, just because I'm not a fan of the I'm not a fan of the CG stuff. I like some of the more model
Mm.
stuff. Just from a personal perspective, it feels like more work has gone into it, or more of a craft, which is such a dismissive thing to say about CG designers and
They
stuff.
both have a place, don't they? That's the thing.
Well, they absolutely have
CG
a
and
place, yeah.
model both have a place.
It doesn't look as real, and that sort of takes you out of it. I'm thinking of the fight from Empire Strikes Back, but I think this might be the best one.
That's fair enough. I think overall, and you're gonna hate me for this, I think I prefer a battle that takes place in Rogue One to this one.
We'll see. Who knows?
But
You may be right.
there's a lot of CG in it, but
I
there's also a lot of they use a lot of, that screen they've got where they have a physical model and then they have the
yeah,
curved screen.
yeah, yeah.
They've got that. They use a lot of that in it.
I
Which I
thought
think they did, I'm sure I did.
I thought you were going to say you prefer the Phantom Menace battle with
I mean,
Anakin.
in terms of the stakes and the fact that there's like 5 different battles going on at once, that tickles something for me.
Mm,
But I think as a space battle, this is probably my second favorite, Return of the Jedi. Because the space battle over Naboo is basically shit.
yeah.
Bunch of people outgunned and a kid who accidentally crashes into a hangar bay.
And Celia
While
Imrie.
was trying to leave.
Yeah, and Celia Imrie as well.
Yeah. So it's not. I mean, she's basically pointless in that film. So I don't know why. But yeah, fine.
It just stands out to me that she's in a Star Wars film as a fighter pilot. She doesn't seem the sort of actress who would A want to or B be considered for it.
Well, you get Hugh Corshi in there as well, don't you?
Who's he?
As Captain Paniker. He was in Holby, I think it was.
Yes, I know who you mean. I know who you mean.
You got all sorts of People that you wouldn't think of in it, but are
I
actually in it.
I mean, look, it pays well, and these people have grandkids and kids, so yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
One thing I made a note here, but one thing that Star Wars has always done well is have multiple ships turning up together. Those shots of the ships,
Mm,
when you've got the X-wing flyby from A New Hope, and you've
mm,
got the shots of the fleet at the end of Empire, and you've got the all the ships jumping in and the
mm.
flybys in this. It fucking works.
Yeah,
It works visually.
I just want to go back to C3PO as God.
Okay. I mean, we haven't mentioned him at all.
I know. I will skip back in the film to where they get captured by the Ewoks.
In fact, actually, I've only written him down once in my entire notes.
C3PO is refreshingly less annoying than in Empire. But one of the things that stood out to me in that scene where he's like a god and he says, my programming prevents me from lying like that,"
Yeah,
or specifically pretending he's a god.
yeah.
But he doesn't dissuade them there and then.
No, that's quite important, that isn't it?
I wonder if he's fucking with Han. I wonder if C3PO on some level is like, this is my moment. I'm going to watch these
Yeah.
fuckers burn. I am now
I just
god of the Ewoks.
I've just realised I did actually write two notes about 3PO.
Yeah.
One of them, did the droids know the plan? R2 probably, but C3PO couldn't have.
No. Don't tell
Because
C3PO
C3PO
anything.
would have absolutely have spilled the beans.
Yes.
I mean, and the other note is that when they captured Leia, his mouth is covered,
Yes, I saw
as
that
if
too.
that would stop him talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's like I get it,
Yeah.
I get it. It's a visual thing,
Yeah.
but
It's like
look,
here.
think about it.
It's like here's why C3PO didn't say anything. That's that plot hole covered. Because if C3PO is there, he is speaking and saying stuff. Right?
Yeah,
He's warning Leia. We need a reason why he's not doing that. Okay, someone's got their hand over his mouth. That'll do.
that'll do. Apart from the fact that it makes no fucking sense as to why that would stop him, but yes, fine.
um.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's like if you put your hand over your speaker and press play on music, it's
it
muffled.
still fucking plays.
It's not like he has to move his speaker unit.
You know,
Um. Yeah. Um. Yeah, and we get that. I don't like the fact they added Darth Vader saying no to that scene where he throws the Emperor down the shaft because we know what he's
yeah.
thinking. You don't need it, George.
Mm.
But look, I've talked endlessly throughout these last three videos about my issues with that sort of thing. It's still a great
I
scene.
can't wait till we get to the films that he didn't have anything to do with.
I'll be like,
And he can
please,
stop banging on about it.
please, George, come back and re-edit them. Yeah, yeah,
Well, I wish George had had the musical number to this scene.
it's a great moment. Yeah, that whole thing with Luke up there is great. The fight in the Death Star with the
There's two
ships is
firsts in
great.
that,
First,
two firsts in that fight.
first
That whole
lightsaber throw,
first lightsaber throw. Yep.
first Force lightning.
First Force lightning. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's an interesting thing to see both of those things happen.
Mm.
Now we don't see how Vader gets his lightsaber back. I'm assuming he just walked over.
Or uses the Force and
fetch it.
pulls it to him.
It seems silly to me that he can't work out where Luke is whilst he's trying to find
I
him.
did think about that. Like he's looking around, and then Luke sort of jumps out from behind a corner that isn't really there.
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
just in the dark. There's not a lot of
yeah.
space down there to hide.
Mm.
Okay, maybe he's wearing black and he's in a dark bit, but still, it seems a bit silly to me.
He may be
He
toying.
seems he seems so off guard when he's getting
Yeah.
when Luke jumps at him.
I
Because
suspect
Luke's got angry.
I suspect he may be toying with him, but I suspect it's more likely just the limitations of the set.
Yeah. I
Um.
suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the Death Star gets blowed up. Well, not
Well,
yet.
hang on.
Sorry, go
We've
on.
got
Go on.
we've got Luke getting angry and him basically the Doom music kicks in basically, doesn't it?
Great music throughout.
It goes for the kill, as it were. And then
Yes.
realizes what he's doing.
And then he pulled back. It's like, oh, what have I become?
Spots the arm, the hand.
Yes.
That matches his own in many
Yes.
ways.
Yes.
And he's such a clumsy duelist, though, isn't he? I don't think Vader was trying there at all.
Maybe he was subconsciously holding back. I guess I don't know.
You know, it doesn't. Luke's. It's like if you gave a kid stick and
Mm,
to hit you with it. He's just waving it around. It doesn't look
mm.
like it's actually trying to go for the hit properly.
He's
And yeah,
angry. He's losing his composure. He's sort of just lashing out at that point because he's
but
mentioned
that's
Leia.
that's why it makes even less sense that Vader loses it.
Well, he's hitting him harder than usual, and Vader's
Well,
thrown off
maybe.
balance by the anger of Luke, and is on the defensive now, and is an old burn victim who can't
Yeah, I
see because he's
suppose.
got a shitty fucking mask that Palpatine cheaped out on.
And speaking of Palpatine, he decides he's gonna lightning attack.
Yeah, he's gonna
You know,
torture him for a bit.
um, and he does, doesn't he? He just toys with him. He's
Yeah,
electrocuting him.
it's his
It's
arrow.
probably the first time it actually worked. Um,
Yes,
because we see it in Revenge of the Sith, don't we? And it's deflected back at him.
mm, yeah. Luke
and
shouldn't have
then
thrown his lightsaber away.
and then later on, I know spoiler alert, but I'm sure you already know anyway. He does it again in Rise of Skywalker, and it
Mm.
gets deflected back at him again. So
Uh,
it's like,
yeah. I want
you
to
know,
I want to make note of a moment I forgot where the Ewok chief has Luke's lightsaber.
okay,
And
yeah,
it's he's looking at it all curious. I just part of me was like, if he switches that on and it fucking
takes his eye out.
splices his head open.
Yeah, no amount of pretending to be a god is going to get him out of that one.
Yeah. Yes. So Vader in his great scene where he fully turns to the good side and kills the Emperor, and then is everything's
For
falling
now,
apart. Yes, for now. And is escorted to a ship, and he takes his helmet off, and we see the gorgeous Hayden Christian Anderson
another
has turned
Sebastian,
into an old man.
Sebastian Shaw.
Yes.
Yeah, who I don't think gets enough credit anymore for having played
No,
that
he
role.
doesn't. I was annoyed. I'm annoyed that he was taken out of.
As a Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get why it happened. I feel bad for him. I feel like if you do that, you kind of got to put Obi-Wan as what's his face?
Ewan McGregor.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Because the argument is that it was the point of when he was at his lightest, right? Or
Yeah.
something. But are you telling me that Ben Kenobi, liar, liar, pants on fire,
Yeah.
is the lightest version of Kenobi?
Yeah. I
Ah, cool bullshit on that.
don't know about that.
You know, but yeah. When they're leaving the Death Star, there's an awful lot of Imperials running about scared, aren't there?
Oh, yeah. Hasn't.
Like,
I'm just sorry. I'm just reading that Sebastian Shaw's brown eyes were coloured blue in the
mm,
2004. Okay.
well, to match Christensen's, I assume.
Yeah. Oh,
Which makes
whatever.
sense. It's I know you don't like it, but it does make sense.
Fine. Yes. All right.
It's patching up a, and they took out his eyebrows as well.
Mm.
Originally, his eyebrows were in there, but
Well, I
burns victim.
yes. It seems like. I mean, it's not blowing up, or I guess maybe people know that they're getting close, and word has spread. It may just be battle station time. Everybody's scrambling to fight us, but nobody
It
seems to
looks
pay
more
much
panic
mind.
to me.
No, yeah, I think that was the intent. Nobody's paying much mind to Vader, hobbling along. It's every man for
Uh,
himself at this point. You couldn't get Vader to say to some officer or some stormtroopers, "Oi, help me. He's fine. Let's carry me to our ship, and we'll get out of here. Fuck it, we'll bring you with
yeah,
us."
because from their perspective, Vader's been kidnapped by what was a prisoner,
Yeah, it is a
right?
bit like the Rebel Alliance. What a senior leader in the Rebel Alliance has come over here. Nobody knows what the fuck has happened to the Empire, and wherever he's going, he's taking a very weak-looking Lord Vader with him. Like maybe this is an issue. Maybe we could step in here. I don't know. Everybody's shitting themselves because that thing that happened in the first movie is happening again.
Oh my god, how unpredictable!
I know because Star Wars. It's a second Death Star. Come on. I know we want to revisit the greatest hits, but yeah.
The second Death Star's the way you get issues, is it? Wait till you get to the fourth.
Oh, fuck off. Wait, there's a.
Oh, I wish I was joking.
I didn't know there was four. I thought there was only three.
Well, I mean, I say four as a loose term for Okay, do you want to know or not?
No, we'll fucking get to it.
Okay,
I'm
it'll be the last film we watch, but yes. Okay, fine. Look forward to the
uh,
bullshit that comes out of that film.
yeah. So we get out. We get out. Lando blows up the Death Star.
Not
Loses
just Lando. Not
loses
just Lando.
Lando and his friend, whose name I don't know.
Uh, no, 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 no. You know his name.
No, I don't. You've said it. I
Wedge.
don't.
Wedge does it. Wedge
Reg.
blows up the power regulator on the North Tower.
All right, I didn't know that.
Don't give him fucking credit for that.
All right, well done, Wedge.
You only watched it like an hour ago. Jesus.
Yes, Wedge and the others who
Watched it yesterday.
were also there fly out, and the thing blows up, and we get
Yeah,
some celebratory shots from across the galaxy.
which is bullshit, really.
Okay, I
Like you alluded to this earlier.
I'm of two minds, right? Firstly,
I've lost you. Your sound's gone.
I'm there now. Hello,
I lost what. Hang on a sec, because yeah, now you are. Yeah,
you can hear me now,
I can hear you now.
right? I didn't say anything before you really. I'm of two minds on this scene, right? First mind
Okay.
is that okay, this is like a really messy position for quote unquote what's left of the Empire to be in, because all your senior commanders are dead, and you've presumably got a bunch of people who are on relatively the same level with their own ships under their command and their own bases of operation. It's like this is going to get civil war-y pretty fucking quick. I don't give a shit what's in the expanded universe or what's coming next. That's how this looks to go. And
Yeah.
you've still got like Coruscant is just because the Emperor's dead. I'm sure a lot of Imperials are like, okay, fuck this, I'm done. And certainly it's going to inspire other popular uprisings. But it's not like a clean slate. It's not like
No.
everybody lives
But
happily ever after. Having said that, I am willing to sort of say, fuck it, fair enough. Like, yeah, the Emperor's dead. We won. We've saved the day. We've destroyed the Death Star and presumably the Imperial fleet, and people are rejoicing because the Emperor is dead and we have freedom now. And I'm fine with shots of other planets and stuff. It works with the whole what we get from the prequels, and it's like, yeah, I don't hate it. I wouldn't miss it if it wasn't there. Jar Jar's in it,
well, I know you say you don't really care about what happens, what follows on, but like the war goes on for like another 2-3 years.
which is uh, completely logical.
Let me double check the actual timing of it.
Mm.
Because it's the Battle of Jakku was the last fight in the and that took place in. Oh no, it goes on for another year because this is 4 ABY and that happened in 5 ABY.
That's sort of,
Right.
I guess that makes sense. You'd have as I see it, you'd have like Imperial factions sprouting up and fighting amongst themselves, and the Rebel
Yeah,
Alliance would probably get stronger, and you know,
officially there's this whole thing of trying to. It's called Operation Cinder, and you don't
yeah,
get an awful lot of stuff told about it in the stuff, but
yeah,
mostly it's the Empire's basically laying waste to everything, striking up fear, regrouping,
mm,
improving, getting resources, and trying to hold out.
mm,
You actually play part of Operation Cinder in Battlefront 2, the remake.
mm,
The main story, you play as a stormtrooper starting from the Battle of Endor on the ground, like an elite stormtrooper, and
yeah,
then halfway through you change sides. You realise that actually this is bullshit,
mm,
which is such a cop out when it comes to this fucking. I get pissed off with that because you're playing a bad guy. Have him stay bad for the love of God. Have a good campaign. Have a bad campaign. I don't give a fuck
mm,
about making it so that everyone is on the good side at the end
yeah,
of things. I
yeah,
don't care. If I want to play a bad guy, let me play a bad guy.
yeah,
You know, don't force me to change allegiances halfway through. Because what if I want the Empire to win just for once?
mm.
Yeah. But
Well,
yeah, Bill Burr has this, and he fucking hates Star Wars apparently. But he had this wonderful talk about Operation Cinder in The Mandalorian, and I will never stop going on about how fucking wonderful that scene was.
yeah,
We've talked about it before, where he's sat opposite an officer who was
yeah,
in command there, and the officer's like, "Well, let's toast to all the men who died, so that the Empire could rise again." And Bill Burr's character was like, "Yeah, but actually, fuck that shit," and shoots him.
mm,
And he apologized. It's such a fucking wonderful scene. It's such
mm,
a because he gets shit for being former Empire throughout that entire fucking show, right up until he does that. And it's
yeah,
like, actually, you know what? This is a man who is trying to escape the horror of the past that he acknowledges he was part of. and he wants to move on from as best he can. And
Mm.
giving him shit for it, and this is the fucking moment where actually, you know what? He's not. He has moved on. He's a good guy, and it's such a fucking wonderful thing. And if you see nothing else, people, I know you won't watch it then, but if you see nothing else of the Mandalorian, at least watch up to that, please.
Well, there we go. So yes,
Right.
we have our celebration scene, and we get back to the Ewok village, and it's party time.
That makes sense to me. That celebration.
What, the
I
Ewok
get that.
village? Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. We
completely on board with
scored a
that.
major
You
victory.
know.
We need a morale boost. As I was with Yavin, as I am with this. I know you had problems with the Yavin one. That works for
But
me.
the reason I had issues with the Yavin one was because the Empire knows where they are, and the
Yeah.
Empire is going to attack them
Yes.
sooner or later. Whereas
Yeah.
here, the Empire is routed,
Mm,
like properly routed. Yeah,
mm.
the fleet's in disarray. They're going to have walked out. Well, not walked. They're going to they're going to have hyperspeeded out of there
Those that
as best they
survived.
could.
Yeah.
You know, and regroup because they
Yeah.
realise that they're in serious shit.
Yeah.
Yavin, the Imperials are just going to be coming to them.
Mm.
They got time.
Well, it's a nice scene, and we get Luke burning um, Vader's body, and he
How
gets
many
a.
outfits do you think they made?
I don't
Got to be
know.
at least two, right?
Well, they needed to burn one. I did. It did occur to me that why, bit weird burning him in his suit. Why don't you burn him as Anakin Skywalker rather than Darth Vader? But hey
Well,
ho,
maybe he was just burning the suit to get rid of the memory of Vader.
possible, very
But
possible.
there's no evidence of that.
Yeah,
It just looked like he was in it. Maybe he just didn't want to strip him off. Maybe he
maybe.
didn't want to see what was going on under that.
Yeah. And we get our scene with Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin looking on sort of proudly, and you did it. The Sith have been destroyed, and the Jedi are on the rise again. Things are looking fresh and bright and rosy.
For now,
So yeah,
for now, for now.
yes. Until
Uh,
Disney buys us and wants to grab
you
our
know,
titties and
we
squeeze.
see we see Wedge at the party as well,
Yeah,
and he's still holding his fucking helmet.
yeah.
Like, what a ridiculous! I saw him man. I thought, hang on a minute, why is he there
Well,
with his
he,
helmet in his arm still?
well,
Like,
yeah.
you'd put it down somewhere.
You could
At the
have,
very least, you'd put it in the drum collection that the Ewoks got for a little
or
while, wouldn't you?
you'd leave it on your ship.
Well, yeah, all that, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But he's in his dress unit. He's in his fucking flight suit, which again sort of makes sense because if he's come from his ship, fine. If he's come from his X-wing, but leave the helmet there at the very least,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add?
Um, no, maybe
I
I don't
mean,
know.
there is that guy that delivered the line, "You rebel scum," really hammerly or intensely. That's the only other thing
I
I
mean,
would mention.
such
Um,
a throwaway thing. I didn't really care about it. To be
Commander
honest with you.
Cody,
No, not Cody.
not Cody, one of the other commanders.
Rex.
Yeah, I heard that I saw him, the guy with the beard, and people have said that
Yeah,
that's Rex because it bears.
retroactive canon has it. It looked like it could well be Rex, and that's only because of what happens in the Star Wars Rebels series. Now we
Mm,
know from that Hera Syndulla
mm,
was and her ship were at the Battle of Endor. You don't see them in it because obviously they're concepts from after, and they've not CG'd them in.
thank
Thank
God.
God. We see them elsewhere in the series
Yeah,
later on, but it's
yeah.
all stuff that was made after, and it sort of works contextually.
Well,
But apparently they were there, and it would make sense that Rex would still be fighting with the rebels.
yeah.
So
Well,
it's good. It's nice for someone who had no one to not be anyone. It's nice for them to have not made a new character
yeah.
with a backstory. They've appropriated a character that already exists. I can
Which
live
is
with
probably the better way to do it. I guess,
yeah, I would say
maybe.
so.
Who fucking knows? But yes, that's Return of the Jedi. Unless you've got anything else to say.
Um, that's Return of the Jedi for now.
Yes. What do you? I think it's fine. I like the Emperor. I like the Jabba bits. I think it drags a bit in the middle. I feel like it could have been a half hour shorter. But yes,
The easiest way to make it a
basically,
half hour shorter is get rid of Jabba's palace.
yeah, basically fine. Yeah. Where do you rank it of the three?
I think it's my second favorite of the three.
It's. I
I've lost
think
you again. Oh no, I haven't.
I think I
Quiet.
prefer A New Hope.
Oh, hang on a minute. I did miss something.
Oh fuck.
It's an older code, but it checks
Yeah,
out.
you mentioned that last time. I forgot you wanted to talk about that. Go on. What's your issue?
Well, like, what's the point of having dated codes if it doesn't matter? What's the point
True.
of having an old code if the new code if it's just as good as a new code? It
Yeah,
doesn't make any fucking
that's
sense
fair.
conceptually.
I
And
get.
I do like the fact that he's about to the commander who's overseeing that defers to Vader's decision on that.
Mm,
He's like I was about to let them through. What do you you know?
yeah,
What's your stance? Everything looks weird, but it's okay.
yeah. Like
I do like that.
strictly speaking, we
But
haven't changed the codes. We just brought new ones out that most people are using, and for some reason they're using that one, which is a little weird and noteworthy. But I don't know.
we get
Strictly
that
speaking, it's fine unless you say otherwise.
we get that bit from the opposite side where Anne's like fly casual. You know, don't keep your distance, but don't look like you're trying to keep your distance. Just
Yeah,
fly casual. Something along those lines. And that's such a nice like he does that, doesn't he? He does this whole
yeah. I guess.
flip flop on the situation and try
Yeah,
and find the middle ground for
yeah,
And we that bit later on where Han's talking to C-3PO
yeah. About all
with
the
the Ewoks, and it's like
stuff you want,
get the thing, and then oh no, come back and get this thing. Oh no, come back and do this thing,
and
and now
hurry
get on
up.
with it. you know,
Yeah,
but it's obviously about for comedy purposes.
yeah.
Let's be real.
I think I don't know. I think the story of the first one is a lot stronger, but this one probably has more shining moments. It's a toughie, but I think as a film as a whole, I probably I don't know. I don't know. I'm honestly torn, but Empire's definitely better. So yes, I think that's us, is it?
I think so.
Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time when we do.
A Phantom Menace or the
Yeah,
Phantom Menace. Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, you're so excited, aren't you?
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
You know what? I honestly think part of you is going to flake out on this now.
No, I won't. I'm still up
You
for it.
fucking better not. We're seeing this through to the fucking end.
We
Now. Just
will.
fucking
We
hell.
will. We will. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.